Fáilte over Cóide, you're welcome indeed to another edition of the programme. As always, we'll be heading over to Manchester to meet Martin Logan for his programme, The Irish in the UK Show, coming up in half an hour's time. You don't want to miss it. But this week we're in the Ellison Hotel in Castlebar to meet a remarkable lady who was abused as a child, overcame her trauma and went on to become a very successful businesswoman, got married, had children, and now gave herself 1 year to raise €40,000 for the Rape Crisis Centre here in County Mayo. Geraldine, thanks for joining us. You're a native of Castlebar.
That's right, Henry. Yes, so I'm a native of Castlebar. I come from a family of 7, and things were a lot different in my childhood. So I experienced child abuse from the age of 9 till I was 14. So it was pretty difficult. Kept it to myself until I probably was in my 20s, and then I told my best friend the first time. There wasn't anyone really that I could open up to about it. I was suicidal a lot in my late teens, and so I suppose I struggled with it, and then you kind of, like everybody else, you kind of block it out and you try and, create a normal life for yourself, and you don't deal with it really. Especially with child abuse or even with rape. I mean, your childhood is stolen, your self-esteem, your life is destroyed, and so that's quite difficult. But I've opened up, and it's just a great relief. I mean, you always kind of grow up your whole life and you're thinking like, what's everyone's going to think and what they're going to say, and you lose all that. I mean, I never think about that now. I think solely on who you can help, and if people have negative opinions, then that doesn't matter. What matters is the victims, and I have tunnel vision, and I can only see the victims, and they need the help. So
you decided to take on a huge challenge within a 1 year period to raise €40,000 for the Rape Crisis Centre.
Yes, well, I was decided in 2019 I would like to do some charity work, and I contacted, I'd never heard of the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre, so I contacted Loretta McDonough, the director of the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre. I searched Google, as you do, and I wanted to work with a charity that was close to my heart. But so after chatting with Loretta McDonough, and she explained the situation they had there, the waiting list and the closure of the centre in Belmullet, and it resonated with me, and I thought, well, we can do something to help. So I set a target of 10,000 initially, but then looking at the bigger picture, there was the 3 centres, Castlebar, Ballina and Belmullet, that needed support. So I raised the target from 10,000 to 40,000.
What was important for you, Geraldine? How this money was to be spent, and what were you going to get out of it?
Well, the 3 key points for me with the campaign were, first of all, to raise the funds, so that we would have the support there. Secondly, to raise awareness, because I had never heard of the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, or victims, that hadn't heard of it. So by raising more awareness, wherever it may be, someone might see or hear about it, and we say pass on the details to a victim that may need it. And then another key point for me would be the prevention. So prevention would be vitally important, because obviously if we can protect children, for me, children would be very close to my heart, and just to think of them being exposed and being vulnerable, they're just an easy target. By raising awareness and putting it out there as much as we can.
You gave yourself an ambitious target to raise €40,000 in 1 year. Had you any doubt you were going to raise that kind of money?
I didn't do it on my own, obviously, and I had such an amazing support system around me with family, friends.
You were the driver behind it.
I
You
was.
drove the whole
I
initiative.
did, yeah. But I didn't do it on my own. As I say, I didn't go one step of that journey on my own. So I suppose it started in our own clinic in Westport. We did raffles there monthly. We had amazing support from all our clientele, and then the mini marathon in Mayo last year was just one of the best days ever. It was just such a glorious day. We had Ray Moylett and Barry O'Neill from Banco Wellness, who came in their lovely female outfit costumes. So it was such good fun. It was a glorious day. I had over 40 ladies there on the day with great support from everyone, and I think we raised about 10,000 from just the marathon alone. So then we went on into October. We had the event with Robin Bazell. Stuart Moyles and Chantal Patton were amazing. They came out and performed.
Yeah, that was a big concert in the McWilliam Park.
Yeah, that was an amazing night. A lot of work, but the feedback was brilliant. It was worth it. But again, everything comes back to raising awareness, because like the mini marathon, the event at Claremorris, everything you do is just putting it out there more, and it's not something that people want to hear and see all the time, I'm sure, but the sad reality is that it's still happening, and it is still happening. But if we can keep raising as much awareness as possible and help to prevent it, that would be, for me, the most important to prevent. Well, not the most important, but equally as important.
My involvement with the Rape Crisis Centre and the frontline services here in Mayo goes back to when I worked in community development and even before that. So obviously I see the need for the services and the supports that they provide right throughout the county, and it's important that it's just not in one part of the county, but it's done on an outreach basis as well, and that women are reached from all over the county, and I think that they do that, and they do that successfully. So when I met Geraldine first about a year ago, and it was around the services in Balmullet and not being able to afford the outreach services in Balmullet, the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre were having difficulties in terms of the resources that they had in being able to provide that service. And Geraldine contacted me, and Geraldine said, I'd like to do this. And in all honesty, I thought at the time, 40,000, it's a huge challenge. And I didn't think that one individual could raise that amount of money. And I have watched her throughout the year and the different events and the way that she has worked, and the actual belief, and the belief in the first instance that she could do it. And I've watched that happen, and I think it's just fantastic. And it goes to show that what one person can do if they believe that something can be done. And I think what Geraldine has done here is just marvellous. It's a marvellous achievement, and I know it's appreciated by the Rape Crisis Centre, but also by many people across the county.
I'm deeply honoured to be here this evening as Cathaoirleach of the Castlebar Municipal District. And first of all, I want to congratulate Geraldine and her team that were involved. I've been involved with Geraldine since the start. I have to congratulate her on behalf of the people of the Castlebar area. I say well done to Geraldine and her team for raising 40,000 euros for the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre in Mayo here. It's some amount of money, and the work that Geraldine and her team has put in was unbelievable, and they were all over the county fundraising. So I say to Geraldine and her team, I say to Loretta and all her staff, keep up the good work and stay safe.
It's a lot of collecting, Henry, there's no doubt about it, and a lot of contributions given by members of the public, by different events that she ran, and all of that kind of stuff. And she is to be congratulated on the excellent work she has done. And she was raising 40,000 in the last 6 months, of which has been impossible to have any events or anything like that because of what has happened with the pandemic. And yet she has managed to raise a colossal amount of money. It's an outstanding success for her. And we've seen, as a result of the pandemic, when the lockdown was on, the numbers of abuse increased. in terms of domestic violence, and I'm sure the Rape Crisis Centre was involved in helping these people who were victims of that. And I suppose the service that they give was never more wanted than it is at the moment.
You've been running your own business in Westport for a number of years now, a skin clinic, and how's it going for you?
It's going amazing, Henry. It's brilliant. So we're there 18 years, based in the Westport Leisure Park, and we have the Covies to thank for that, obviously. Who kept us in business for 18 years. We've built up lots of amazing, wonderful friendships with a lot of our clients over the years who are still coming to us. I just believe if you use your time wisely and make the most out of your day, then you can have a good schedule. If you think about it, there's a nice link between the skincare business and looking after clients and taking care of them, and then the fundraising. It's just, you always kind of, with clientele, you build up a lovely friendship with them and you start to confide in each other. So there's always that bit of therapy going on either way between us and the clients. So we were there 18 years specialising in skin, and we love it.
Ray, how did you get involved in this fundraiser?
I suppose I'm very good friends with Geraldine, and she's looked after me for a number of years now, and I heard she was getting on board with this, raising money for the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre, and I wanted to obviously support her in any way I can and just give my support and helping hand in any way I could. Geraldine was very good to me, so it was the least I could do to help her.
We came up with a very novel way of fundraising here to take part in the women's mini marathon. Please explain.
I suppose it was something different, and there was no pressure on us to go out winning the marathon. Myself and Barry, another friend of mine, and Geraldine as well. So we dressed up as two ladies. I dressed up as an old lady, and he dressed up as dressed up in a tutu, so we had a bit of crack at that, and we got plenty of cheers along the way too, so it was great, and it was just a way of raising awareness, in a different way, so it was great.
And you got tremendous reaction and support on the day.
That's it, absolutely. Because we were different and we stood out like a sore thumb, and people knew what we're doing it for as well, so we raised plenty of awareness for the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre, and we needed to stand out, and I think we've done that. But it was great, and we enjoyed it. So we enjoyed it more than we should have.
And for Geraldine raising the 40,000 in the year, did you think it was going to happen, or was it possible to raise that money in a year?
I knew she's such a hard worker, and I knew she'd be able to do it, but I didn't know how. And I knew it was going to be a massive task for any individual to do it. I knew she would do it, but I didn't know how. But I can't believe that she actually did it in the end, in the allotted time, in less than a year. It was unbelievable. And obviously she has great people around her and great support. So obviously she's very well sought after and very well got around the place. So it's great to be associated with her.
How do you feel now after the presentation of the cheque there, 40,000 this evening?
When Loretta spoke there as well, and how much it meant to the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre, but it wasn't to the actual centre, it was to the victims, I suppose, or the people that's using it. So yes, and the service. So I suppose that's sort of the hard copy of it there. We're looking at a cheque of 40,000, and then we're looking at the name Mayo Rape Crisis Centre, but it's the actual people that are going in and out, and they're getting help from it. It's really part of that.
Lisa, this is a great achievement from Geraldine to raise 40,000 in such a short period of time.
Yeah, Geraldine is a force of nature. She's an incredible lady, and I've gotten to know Geraldine well over the last couple of years as she's embarked on her fundraising project for the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre. And her organisational skills, her ability to get people to a location on time and kind of get everyone together, she's just a fantastic person, and credit to her. It's difficult to raise money for anything, even for the best of causes, and you're always competing against other causes as well. And to come up and raise €40,000 in Mayo, I think is an incredible achievement. And she should be proud of herself. And I just, for all of us that have been associated with her and done very little, but just to be there and support, you know, we're very proud to be associated with the project and to see those funds going to a very, very worthy organisation.
Well, congratulations on 25 years of the Rape Crisis Centre here in County Mayo. Indeed, yourself, almost 25 years with the Rape Crisis Centre.
Yes, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Henry, thank you.
Just how important is this service in Mayo over the years?
Well, the importance of it would be very well reflected in our numbers. We have had, you know, we began in 1994, a very small service with a very small number of staff. We now have 6 volunteer counsellors and 5 staff. I've been with them since 1995. I began as a volunteer as well as a counsellor. And what we have seen over the years is that there's a demand. Once you name the issue of sexual violence, once people become aware that there's a service there, then they start to recognise what happened to them wasn't okay. Like when we began, we only saw women. Now our service is gender neutral. We see men and women. We also have a huge demand for the part of our service where we work with supporters. So the victim may never come into the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre because it may not be the service they want, but their husband, their wife, their father, their mother, their friend, their teacher, you know, somebody who is really supporting them needs support.
And is it mainly, predominantly young people that you're dealing with?
We have dealt and continue to deal with all age groups. It's amazing, you know, we've had people in their 70s use our service. You know, sexual violence knows no boundaries around that. We often say, you know, predominantly men will be abused in their childhood. So the threat of sexual violence to a man will ease as he grows up. You know, as a boy becomes a man, that diminishes. For a girl, that never goes away. So we've had women in their 70s raped in their own homes.
And just some of the services that you provide.
Yeah, so the most one that would be known would be our free phone helpline. That operates daily for 4 hours a day. We then do face-to-face counselling, we do online counselling, and then we do education, information, advocacy. Somebody who needs to go to the guards needs support making a statement, someone who might need to engage with medical system that they haven't engaged with before, someone who's been to SATU, the Sexual Assault and Treatment Unit in Galway. The aftermath, we take a lot of referrals from there. We take a lot of referrals from GPs, psychologists, social work, the guards, teachers. We just take referrals from everywhere. We also refer on. We have a good referral on pathway as well. Not everyone is going to be for us. You know.
Now, the main centre is in Castlebar.
Yes.
But as I mentioned, it's a county-wide service. So where else do you have the service for people?
We, at the moment, are operating an outreach service in Ballina. Again, Geraldines fundraising success last year has really helped us develop and extend that. So our primary core funding, which covers the paid work in the centre, is from Tusla. Previous to that, we were under the HSE. So that core funding covers my post and 4 other posts. It's a shared post, but the majority of fundraising that's done covers those additional appointments. But a lot of our outreach work and stuff comes as a result of good fundraising, you know, and that has always been the people of Mayo. The goodwill towards our service has been really supportive to us, and having people like Geraldine Grennan who just picked up the chalice and said, look, I'm going to run with this, I care about what you do, you know, that is really effective.
No, this 40,000 you got from Geraldine's wonderful.
Oh my goodness,
fundraising.
can you believe that? 40,000, all because of one wee woman?
How would that money be spent at the Rape Crisis Centre?
That money created more appointments in North Mayo and our outreach service in Ballina, and it also diminished the waiting list. Prior to Geraldine fundraising, people were on our waiting list. 9 months was the longest. Now, as a director of services, I find that very, very hard to hold. But we moved that before we went into lockdown, it was 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Now it's changed again, unfortunately, because we've got very busy again. But we are continuing to offer more appointments. So 2020 is covered in that way because of the money was mostly raised in 2019. What happens in 2021, because there's no fundraising happening in 2020, obviously, we don't know. But for now, Geraldines 40,000 created more posts in Ballina, more appointments in Ballina, more appointments in Castlebar, but also raised unbelievable awareness of the service to people who never knew it, and the issue. People started talking about it a bit more, and that's where a survivor would get the encouragement to reach out and get help for themselves. If they hear a conversation happening about a service that they didn't know existed, and the fact that we're free and so specialised.
I would be a friend and a client of Geraldine's, and I was in the clinic one day when she was explaining how she was hoping to put all this fundraiser in action, and she asked if I'd be interested in getting involved in a music concert which was held in the Macwilliam Park Hotel. So I ended up being on the lineup for the night, and there was a great lineup. There was Robert Mazzell, Stuart Moyles, and Geraldine's brother as well sang a few songs for us all, and it was just great. People enjoyed it so much, and fair play, she put so much hard work and effort into it. She was non-stop. It was all go, and I seen her up and down around the county and even out from here, and she was non-stop. She had a great crew behind her as well, helping her out, and I tried to help out as much as I could as well. So that was my contribution to the cause.
This is a great evening for your family, and particularly Geraldine.
Yes.
And fundraising.
Oh yeah. It's an absolute fabulous achievement. I'm over the moon for her. We're all over the moon for her. When she announced at the beginning that she was planning on raising 40,000 for the Mayo Rape Crisis Centre, I didn't actually think that it was achievable in a year. And I was hoping that she would have picked a smaller amount, maybe 10, 15,000. So it's absolutely phenomenal that she has reached her goal, reached her target, and we're all very, very proud of her.
You wouldn't even know or realise that something like that, a service like that, isn't getting the funding that they deserve and stuff like that, until somebody brings it up, until somebody raises awareness about it. And same as Frank, I think that 40,000 was achievable in a year, but fair play to her, she stuck in there, and as she said, the Castlebar Mayo people have been brilliant in supporting it. It is a phenomenal achievement, and it's great that the service has stayed in Mayo, and it's great that there's an opportunity there now for, that the awareness is there, and that, that people have somewhere to contact, and yeah, very, very proud and an inspiration. And the fact that she shared her own personal story as well will give lots of other people, both men and women and children alike, and the strength to go out and get in touch with the services if needed, and hopefully the fewer the better.
After all my strength is gone, here I can be strong. I look to you.
Well, congratulations to Geraldine. This has been a wonderful achievement, a great success story, and indeed we'd like to wish her and her family all the best for the future. Well, if you've been affected by any of the issues raised in this programme, well then further information coming up on your screen now. Well, that's it for us. Do join us again next week at the same time. So until then, slán go fóill.